Hey, book babes. I'm Aubrey.
And I'm Peyton.
And today we are going through Q1 of reading and talking about all of the books from January to March.
Yes, so join us with a cup of coffee as we dive between these paper sheets.
Let's do this.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Hardcover podcast. We are so happy to have you. We've been doing a lot of book reviews lately, so I'm happy to just chat about the year so far, jump into some stats, and how we're feeling about our reading journey so far in 2025.
Yeah, instead of a book review, we're doing like 10 book reviews, but like in a condensed format, you know? And there's some books that we get to talk about when we do these that we don't talk about like on the reg because like only one of us read it or something like that.
Right.
So it has been a hell of a year, a hell of a start to the year. I can't believe we're only a fourth of the way through the year.
It feels like 10 years.
So how well did we do in this first quarter? Not great. If you're me. Much better if you're Peyton.
If you've been following our like reading goal journey, you know that Aubrey loves to punish herself during the year, and I like to usually take things pretty easy and safe, and so I think our personalities are really showing here. Actually, my goal is pushing the limit. Like I'm like, wow, that's a lot of books. And then whenever I want to make myself feel better, I go to Aubrey's reading goal and I go, you're doing fine. But all things considered, like it's not, I feel like I have to say this. It's like my fiance is a competitive runner and it's like that person's faster than me and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, stop it. It's not a competition.
No.
But then it's so stupid for me because then I go onto my little Goodreads app and I'm like, it's a competition. I need to get there. I need to get to 40. It's like not even that I'm envious of other people reading and until you're a Kindle Unlimited girl and you're reading like 200 books a year. And I'm like, how do you have the time? Anyways, tangent aside, as much as I'm not competitive and say like this is not a competition and there's actually a little bit of toxic culture around reading goals and expectations on readers, I just want to say have fun reading. If you read one book this year, you're already better than the average person in the world. So
yeah, it's a challenge. It's not like a pressure thing. You know what I mean? Like it's not
a test. It's
a challenge. Hobby. This is just what you do for fun. And there isn't like a metric that you need to hit. I just like to challenge myself, which is why I want to read 60 books this year because I read 50 last year.
Yes. And how's that going?
Well, I have read 10 books so far, which 10 feels like a strong number.
It is.
Thinking of the month. It does also mean that I'm 10 books behind. I did half of what I was supposed to.
That is insane. So double the books you've read you were supposed to have read.
Yeah, and I finished a lot of books in the past like week. So the number looked worse.
You're like, it was worse? This is the better version of last week.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I am excited to see where the rest of the year takes you. For me,
yes,
my goal is 40. I'm 2 ahead. Yesterday, I want to add though, I was 3 ahead. So I'm like, wait, no, now I'm 2 ahead.
I can't. The like Sunday anxiety of being like, oh my gosh, I know it's gonna change sometime around here. It's not cool. It's not cool.
It's a very niche feeling. Only a small, crazy, like meaning we're crazy amount of people. No.
I think that's why they took it away from our phones. Like you're not allowed to see how many books you're behind on your Goodreads challenge anymore because I was checking it like constantly. Like in my head, I just feel like I read a lot more books than I do.
I feel like I'm reading all the freaking time and it's crazy. So in the beginning of the year, they changed the Goodreads thing. And if you're a reader, you're right here with us.
You saw it at midnight.
the UI is not great at all. It's not accessible. You can't go and see how your friends are. Like you can't, it's not easy. There's nothing easy about it.
People's challenges anymore.
Right. And so on my app before, it would just say like, oh, great, you've read this many books.
Yeah.
Recently, though, they've added on my phone, and I don't know if because you're behind, they're not telling you. But for me, it says, great pace, you're 2 books ahead of schedule.
It's back on your phone?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it is not on my phone yet.
And then it has the ticker. But I liked how it was before where it had your profile picture and your name. And then, so Goodreads, like you have upgraded your app a certain, like there's things that you're trying. And like, I really appreciate that.
Okay,
let us
my
know
app
how you feel about it all.
actually is updated, and apparently I'm only 5 books behind and not 10, so I must have written it down wrong. That makes me feel a little better.
Girl, you just knocked off 5 books. That's huge.
I just got 5 books ahead, bitches.
Oh my God. See,
thank you.
that is some holy work.
I don't know. You say Peyton's read 12 books, so she's read 2 more books than me. So if it was a competition, she'd be winning.
Also, we'll get into what I've read. I've been just having fun this year. Nothing too crazy.
As you should. And with that, let's jump in to the first finished book of the year. It's all you, boo.
Yes, so I read Frederick Backman's short story, The Answer is No. I gave this 4 stars. Frederick Backman, the only other book I read written by him was A Man Called Uva, which if you have seen the Tom Hanks movie, that's great. The book was devastatingly beautiful. And this short story is no different. And it's funny because I haven't read a lot of Bachman's work, but what I'm understanding is that he loves writing about very depressed, lonely men.
Right.
And so the premise of the story is that there's this young guy living in around a kind of like the way I imagined it was like a senior citizen community.
Okay.
But it's not. It just felt like that because everyone would not, like, no one leaves him alone. He just wants to be left alone, but the whole community is like always on him about something. And so it's a very quirky story.
Oh.
But Frederick's way, like his prose, his writing, it is just so amazing. So I always recommend.
Cute. Next up, Peyton and I read this together, and it was our first review of the year, kind of, sort of. We have
The House in the Cerulean Sea.
Yes.
TJ Klune. This is our first TJ Klune book. Guys, this was such a good start to the year. And the podcast, I should say.
Yes, this book is so adorable. And like, what was our word? It was like heartwarming or something like that, where I was like, if you took a shot every time we said that in the review, like you'd be drunk in the hospital.
You would be in the hospital with alcohol poisoning. It is so heartwarming, quirky, fun, with a very powerful message, which we love on this podcast.
Yes, this was such a good book to be reading right before the Trump regime started back up, to give you a little bit of hope. It follows our main guy, Linus Baker, and he is like a social worker of types in this fantasy setting for magical kids. And he is sent to a very special orphanage to do a review to see if everything is up and up at the House in the Cerulean Sea. And when he goes there, he's kind of pressured by extremely upper management.
Yes.
That basically they're looking for an excuse to shut this house down. And that would mean very bad things for the kids that Linus comes to learn. He's like on the spectrum type character where there's a lot of injustices in this world, which is a clear reflection of our own. But he doesn't see it. But he almost doesn't see it, I feel like, because like
he's a part of the system.
Because he's a part of the system, and because he just takes everything at all the lies and propaganda, he just takes. You know,
I think that the imagery in this book, it's his world's very black and white, and then coming to, I mean, look at this cover. He starts to see the world in Technicolor, and it changes his perspective on everything. And I think that's the black and white drab city he was in to this beautiful house on the cliff.
And this has such amazing characters.
The best.
We decided we wanted to read this book when we read the description of it for the first time on the podcast and realized that the kids in this house are like the Antichrist, a green amorphous glob, a gnome. Yeah. Like it's got so much heart and personality. It's witty. There's a little bit of a gay love story. It was 5 stars all around.
Yes, the blurbs on the back are the best. David Levithan said, TJ Klune creates worlds where fear and threat can be conquered by kindness, and a tender queer heart is more valuable than any weapon or power. They're so, and my favorite is V. Schwab. She said, I loved it. It is like being wrapped in a big gay blanket. Simply perfect. That's not like the gayness of it. There's the right amount of gayness, but it's not the whole story, but it's definitely there that it just gives you that quirkiness that is just so much fun to read.
Did you know that Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil is gay?
Yes.
V. Schwab's new book?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Bitch,
Yeah.
I read the description and I was just like, okay, witchy shit. Like, on my TBR added, pre-order.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what book? I'm like, oh, yes.
Yeah,
I did know that.
Incredibly long title.
Yeah, I was like, huh? I'm like, oh, V. Schwab. Yes.
Yes,
I mean, it makes sense if you've read Invisible Life, Betty LaRue.
And it comes out Pride Month. The next book is another book that Peyton and I read together. This was a book club book. We see you in between the lines, our local book club.
The God of the Woods by Liz Moore, who is a Philly native, which we love because we are located just outside of Philadelphia. This book, I mean, I don't know. Oh, okay. I was like, how did you feel this book? I loved this book. I loved reading it. It was great. This is one of my favorite covers ever. Obsessed. I will say the ending of this book, I liked the journey more than the destination. It's a mystery. It takes place in a couple different timelines, but it is a mystery surrounding a girl that disappears at camp. The caveat and like the mystery around this camp goes back years because this girl's older brother, Bear, went missing also many, many years ago. So it's like, oh wow, now the daughter, the like little sister's missing, and it's like, what is it? Who's involved? There's a serial killer on the loose. Like, it is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And like the duality of this story is crazy.
Yeah, like the class consciousness of dealing with these like Vanderwoods type like rich family. What are they? They're even called something like
yeah,
like
no, they are. It's Van Lars. Van
Lars. Okay, you see the direct parallel to
a Vanderbilt
sort of middle class like camp counselor vibe. It's good. I think if Peyton liked the journey more than destination, I think I liked the destination a little bit more than the journey. But I think a lot of that just has to do with that this isn't my genre.
Yeah, I rated it 4 stars.
I gave it a 3.5. I thought it was cute. There was a lot of stuff that I really liked, including Liz Moore's representation and like depiction of her female characters. They were all like strong, but like so grounded. Like they all like were a little bit of a fuck up, and so like realistic, like we didn't have to like paint them as perfect in order to represent
they felt
them.
like very normal people. And yeah, the way she told the story too, like of course it's 4 stars for me. I have critiques on it that I'm not going to get into in this podcast, but I think it made for a really good book club book, which our book club has been having trouble finding. And I think this was like the first one in months where we were like, wow, a good book club book. So definitely 4 stars for me. I want to read her Long Bright River whatever book eventually.
It'll get added to the TBR.
Now switching gears to more of our realm, our genre, our slice of cake, if you will.
We have Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. This is book 3 in the 4th wing, whatever a 5-book series is called.
Yeah, what is it called? The Empyrean something or another?
The Empyrean series. But I was like, I wanted to say trilogy, but it's going to be 5 books. And I don't know, like.
Yeah. It's so crazy. It doesn't have it on this front cover.
I don't know. No, I think that's 4.
That is 4. Quinn. It'd be Quinn.
Yeah.
A quintuplet series. 5 babies. Anyways,
the book.
I don't think this book needs an introduction.
No, and we can't talk about plot because it's book 3. You know what 4th wing is. This is dystopian. This is dragons. This is Divergent for adults. If you haven't read it at this point, like either it's on your TBR or you've decided it's not for you.
Yeah, it's like ACOTAR for people. You either like jumped on or you're like, I'm never reading those.
It was the fastest selling, most selling book of like the century or like the past 20 years. Like you fucking know. You know what it is. I think it's outsold the Bible at this point of like the past 20 years. I'm kidding. But it's very popular. Peyton, what'd you give it?
I think I give this 5 stars. Yeah, so I didn't love the 2nd book in the series, loved the 3rd. There are some people in our comments that totally disagree with that. That is fine. I really like the plot, even though some people felt it was drawn out. I love the plot in this book. And I like where the series is going. I also am a Divergent kid through and through. So, and I like
love Glassy.
I love Violet, the main character. Like, I'm obsessed with her. So it makes sense where I would probably defend the rights and wrongs of this book. Series.
Yes. As we all should have a series that just owns our heart like that. I'm right there with you for some series as well. I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I know there was a lot of people who had major complaints. I think especially coming after Iron Flame, which kind of tanked.
It did.
It was good. It felt like we're back onto our pacing. I mean, nothing's going to capture the magic of the first book. And if you're searching for that, like, you need to read like the last book or like just read the first book again. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I will say, I know a lot of people, this is their introduction to romantasy or fantasy in general. And so if you look at the first book and you're like, oh, we're in a school setting, we've kind of moved past that. And the plot of this book was like a journey, was a map plot, which was another fantasy like trope. And if you're like, that's not really for me, I wanted the Academy vibes, like, I get it.
Yeah.
But this series promised from page 1 that it was going to follow the traditional path of expanding in its plot and becoming this like war rebellion thing.
Right.
So,
yeah, I think the plot took over and you maybe lost some of the romancing.
Yeah,
I mean, that tension that
together.
naturally dissipates by a third book in a fantasy series. But if I was mainly a romance girly, I'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
The next book is A Study in Drowning.
I'm holding it up. I didn't
by
read it.
Ava Reed. This book, I forgot that you didn't read it. So I'm like, oh, Aubrey can help fill in the gaps here.
Actually, you did a really good job talking about it the last time we talked about it. That
okay,
I was
so
like, damn,
whenever I talked about it last, could someone else go? Can you just input it here?
Yeah. Okay. So the main character.
All I know is what I love about this book.
Yes.
The main character's name's Effie Sayer. Sayer is the last and maiden name of Zelda Fitzgerald. She was Zelda Sayer. And so this book, the overarching plot line is that this girl is discovering that perhaps her favorite author, the favorite author of the people that she grew up in, because it's a classist system and blah, 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 look up to this person. She finds out that maybe not, this work's been stolen. It's just so happens that I read the acknowledgments, which I never do, but I did for this book. And the last line is dedicated to Zelda Fitzgerald, and she names Zelda Sayer. And I was like, I hope I'm saying that right, but I'm sure people will correct me in the comments. But anyways,
sounds good.
Go and she's reclaiming her name because Zelda was institutionalized and like lobotomized by F. Scott Fitzgerald.
And she wrote Great Gatsby.
Yeah, she literally wrote Great Gatsby. So yes, it's a dark academia kind of vibes, definitely. Truly fantasy, creepy house she gets assigned to. There is a love interest for my romance people, so do not worry. I gave this book 3.5 stars. Definitely not my favorite pacing and not necessarily my favorite writing, but it kept me interested enough to come back. And Ava did a really good job at leaving chapters on cliffhangers. Which
you read it fairly quickly.
I did. I was like, I'm going to plow through this, or I'm not going to. This would be a book if for the podcast, if we were reading something and I was more interested, I would have DNF'd this. Like, I could have seen a world where I did that. So I like stuck with it. And I ended up liking it. It's just some things are really creepy in this book. So if you get creeped out easily, there's some like thrillery, horror-y, not horror. It's YA. Hopefully I can say that. I'm like freaking out now. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I recommend it if you're into that.
Book 2 comes out later this summer. Theory and something.
Yeah, so the book left on a cliffhanger, which you just reminded me of because there's a second one coming out. It's not that memorable.
That first one came out forever ago. I mean, I got it last Christmas and then just never read it.
Yeah, and I got it for this past Christmas. I want to say this is her debut. Not sure.
I don't know. I know she also read that like Macbeth one.
Oh, okay.
All right. Next up, we have the February book club book, 7 Days in June. This is a romance. It features our two main characters as adults who are both published authors, and they're both fairly acclaimed in their different genres. Our main girl, she writes like vampire erotica, and our main guy writes like upmarket lit fic. Each to their own, but they have been writing about one another in their stories, and they get reunited at a panel, and basically, romance happens, and they are thinking about these 7 days in June, but also the 7 days in June when they had first met and got together as high schoolers. And so you had this like dual timeline flashing back to like when they were kids to when they were adults.
Yes, this was I enjoyed the main character in this book and her daughter.
I hated the daughter.
I loved her. Her daughter's personality is so funny.
Yeah.
But I'm going to add something here. Mm-hmm. This is why it's funny. This book is supposed to be very relatable and something maybe you could insert yourself into, and like the problems the characters are dealing with, blah, blah, blah. The outcome of this book and also just some plot details are completely unrealistic and would never happen in the real world. Mm-hmm. So it makes it really hard to connect with this book. Hence why I gave it 3 stars. The writing was well done. There's been books along these sort of plot lines we've read in book club that have totally fallen off for me, and I hated them. And so she definitely did something right while writing this book. It just felt very unrealistic that I couldn't relate. When you're telling real life stories like this, they're supposed to be more relatable. And there's something about the way that the kid did act that was just unrealistic. The whole 7 days, they've only known each other 7 days, and now like they seem like they've known each other their whole lives. There's like we could go into it for 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm. We could have had a little bit of extra like narrative distance and been like, hey, they dated for 3 months in high school, and now as 30-year-olds are still hung up on one another.
But I get the title 7 Days in June, the sort of like whirlwind back romance. Like I get that. I love this. I love the concept. But if we're really like picking apart this book, it was a good book.
Yeah, I liked how she handled the more serious topics in the book. We dealt with like mental health. We dealt with generational trauma. We dealt with drug addiction. I thought it was balanced very well with the more like steamy parts of the book.
Yeah.
The ending lost a whole star for me. I gave it 3.5 stars. I would have given it 4.5. Truly, I really enjoyed it. Even though, the kid, what I didn't like about the kid is that she was supposed to be like 11 and she acted like she was 16.
Yeah.
And like
the age thing was a little much for
like
me.
I was just like, shut up. Like that's I don't like, that's a personal ick of mine, and I know a lot of people find it endearing and funny when kids act like so like mature and smart and like little geniuses. I'm just like, no, I know who kids are. Kids are little shits. Like let's just let them be little shits because they can be funny little shits.
Yeah.
The Tia Williams is coming out with a YA book following the daughter. And I was just like, okay, so how much of this was just like marketing for her? But anyways, I hated the fucking ending. If you know, you know, the ending of this book like lost a whole star for me. And I was just enraged. I was enraged at both of the characters. I was enraged at like, I don't know why it happened the way it happened. Half of like the promises in the book got resolved in the epilogue. It was weird. But I'd read another Tia Williams book because I feel like it was a plotting issue in this book. And I know her other one's really popular, something Ricky Wilde.
Yeah.
So I would try that one out because I did like her writing and like the way she developed characters.
Yeah, her characters were great. Yeah. That's just why it's above a 3 for us.
Staying in the romance genre.
Yeah, we're getting steamy, girls.
We're getting a little steamier. There was spice in 7 Days in June, but nothing compared to Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, which is the like Ali's step into the kinkier BDSM community. Whether or not she did a good job is up to reader discretion.
Yeah.
What'd you give it?
It depends on how into kinky stuff you are and if you liked it.
Yes.
I gave Deep End 4 stars. Mm-hmm. after I read Bride by Ellie Hazelwood, I was swept off my feet. I was like, "Ooh, I like this girl." I like Bride, of course, more than Deep End. But I mean, her characters, her banter, her writing is so like easy to read. This isn't work reading this book. It was a fast book to read. It was easy to follow. It was fun. As someone who doesn't like hardcore, kinky, smutty stuff, it was the right amount for me. And so if you're really into that, maybe like KU or Wattpad has something for you. But I think Allie did a really good job at balancing that. Some of it was, this is my opinion, cringy to me, where I'm like, oh, he did not just say that. I also listened to a lot of the audiobook, and
you can't listen to stuff like this.
The issue was that the male love interest was Swedish, and the narrator, which I love, had a Swedish accent, but it was so off-putting to me because sometimes he'd say something and I'm like, oh, like, and also I don't know if it was a production error on the recording, but every time he talked, it was really low and you could hardly hear what he was saying. And then when she talked, it was like really fast and really loud. And we were like, oh my God, like you're annoying. But when I read the book, I was like, oh my God, these characters are great. So it's definitely an audio thing, not a writing thing for Allie. Allie did a great job on this book. I loved it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It follows our main character, and she is a diver at like, I don't know, Stanford or something like that.
I think it is Stanford.
And basically, the captain of the diving team is like Miss Perfect, and she has the hottest boyfriend who is a swimmer, and he's like an Olympic medalist swimmer. They've been together forever. They're an it couple. Well, they're having problems because he's into kinky shit and she is not. And it basically leads to them breaking up over this and probably some other issues that we get to later. And she gets drunk, the captain, one night at like this like diver swimmer party. And she's like, hey, why don't you two fuck? Because the main character revealed to the captain like, hey, I'm also into kinky stuff. Like if you just want someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Well, then because it's a romance book and a series of other like forced proximity encounters between them, maybe things happen.
Maybe they get together.
I thought this book was really hot. I love that Allie Hazelwood originally wanted to name it Wet, W-H-E-T. And people are always like, this book made me cover wet. It was wet. It was wet.
It was a very wet book. I think Deep End was a great title. Oh my gosh.
So much better. I'm so sorry, Allie Hazelwood, but your team made the right call in making you change it.
Yeah, it's a really fun one. I think this is, if you're looking for a summer read, I know we're not really doing Rex, but if you're looking for a summer read, girls, pick up Deep End.
You should.
Have a good summer. Have a very wet summer.
Yes. Oh, and they market it as like 50 Shades, and they reference 50 Shades a lot. These are college kids experimenting where 50 Shades is like 30-year-olds and the guy, like Christian Grey's really into it already.
Yeah.
There's just like
there's the whole contract thing, but like don't take that so seriously. They're college kids.
There's no bondage. There's no toys. They're just experimenting.
Yeah.
Okay. So just go in with the right expectations, because I think that's what turned people off, is not like the level that was there, but just that they thought they were going to get something else, which is valid. Moving forward, the next book is one that I have read, and that is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This is book 2. I don't know what the Caraval trilogy. Caraval is book 1. I really love this series. It follows our main girls, Tella and Scarlett, and they live in this like Spain like fantasy setting where every year this character called Legend, who's like mythical, like he's like on the level of like Santa Claus or something like that, hosts this like Caraval game where you go and compete, and the game's different every year, but it's some type of mystery, and whoever wins it gets to make a wish, and that wish is like bibbidi bobbidi boo, like any magic wish you want and it will happen. And so our girls go, they like run away from their abusive father, they escape to the island, they go to compete, and the first book, Scarlett gets separated from her sister, Tella, and Scarlet has to compete by herself, and it's following that. And the second book, not to spoil what happens in the first book, but it kind of like, as the book ends, you kind of like understand where the story's going, and we maybe have another round of Caraval, another game. And it expands the world some more. I really enjoyed this. I think I gave the first one like 4 stars or like 4.5. I gave this one 5 stars. I was obsessed with it.
The second book in a fantasy series usually slaps.
Well, you
unless you're Iron Flame.
But I truly, like, I really enjoyed this. And I think part of what I enjoyed is we have a different point of view character. Oh. And that lets everything be fresh again, but you already know the world. So you're not doing like the heavy lifting. And it ends in a really interesting place. And I'm very excited to do the next one. I know these books came out forever ago, so everyone probably already knows what happens. I'm not giving spoilers for Peyton because I want Peyton.
I have them like right there, and I'm really excited to start.
Yes, and this is the original series. It is a sequel series, which is the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, which Peyton wanted to read, which is why I started reading this in the first place. We're getting there. We're getting there, guys. Next up, not our latest book review, but one of our latest book reviews.
We've been cranking them out, guys.
We've been cranking them out. For She Is Wrath by Emily
yours is upside down.
For She Is Wrath by Emily Varga.
For She Is Wrath, Emily Varga, debut fantasy novel, Pakistani romance, queuing off of Mount of Monte Cristo. If you love the Mount of Monte Cristo, oh my gosh, the Count of Monte Cristo, whatever. You're going to love this book. It's great. It's a 1-for-1, but female energy shows up in this book. We're talking prison. We're talking prison escape. We're talking weird drug and power and a corrupt social system and a lover that has betrayed her.
It is lovers to enemies, which I think when done right can be even better than enemies to lovers. Like if enemies to lovers is the bread and butter, this is that next best thing because you have all the tension, but like now they maybe hate each other.
Yeah, it's really weird because I don't know if I've ever read a lovers to enemies.
No, but I want to read more.
I want to read more too. So this is Emily's debut. I have to say, of course, there are things I gave this 3.5 stars. There are things about this book that lost my interest. Maybe because the source material she was inspired by, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's not my type of story. Yeah. Like I don't know. But I will say I see so much potential in her writing. And this is just the beginning. And it's a freaking standalone. At least so nice. For now. I think the main characters whose name I forgot, Dania, I think her bestie is going to get a book next.
Yes, which is the perfect way to do like a sequel book because if you don't want to pick it up, like you don't have to. Like the story ends wrapped up, entirely completed, but then you can like spend a little bit more time in the world. Yes, I gave this 4 stars. I love a vengeful woman plot. Like give me a woman who is beyond morals and focused on just killing men, and I will eat it right up.
This book screams feminine rage. It was great.
Yeah, literally For She Is Wrath.
For She Is Wrath. I mean, like the cover, the title, the writing, this being a debut. Emily, you did such a great job. I'm excited to read more of your stuff when it comes out.
Yes. Continuing on an upward path, the next book that we finished that I'm still like crying about.
I think about this book every day.
Yeah, genuinely, I have not spent a single day since I finished it not thinking about it. And that is Sunrise on the Reaping by
Rowan Empire.
Oh my gosh, I love this book so much. This is the new Hunger Games book following Haymitch's story. We just filmed the podcast on this. Like last episode was our review of this book and I'm not over it. It is the 50th quarter quell. It's Haymitch's game. This book is jam-packed about media propaganda and like hating Donald Trump. without saying it.
There are so many, as I feel like any dystopian novel, but the thing that Suzanne Collins does best is she saw that there was a need for this story right now, and she man, did she deliver.
Man, did she
all
hurt.
politics and real world scary stuff aside, this story offers us and really serves us on a horrible platter why Haymitch became the man he is. He's the grunchy, grouchy, drunk man in Katniss's story. You're like, how did he become this? And you realize he actually, his beginnings are so wholesome, and he's such a sweet boy. He's 16 in this, and when he competed in the Hunger Games, and you just like discover stuff you did not even know. And no spoilers in this episode, so please go and watch our book review. Actually, as we're filming today, that it came out.
Yes.
But
literally chapter 2 made me cry. Like, I'm already jaw on the floor crying at chapter 2. Chapter 1, he says, I'm not a drinker. You see exactly how the games destroyed him.
Yes. So 5 stars, of course.
5 stars. Absolutely. Next up, we have the March Book Club Book of the Month.
Oh, yes. The Lost Bookshelf by I don't know who.
Evie Woods.
Evie Woods. I had, and if you've seen the collector's edition for this book,
it's hot.
I had so like through the roof high hopes for this story. I was so excited. Magical realism set in Ireland and like the UK, like dual plot line, history, like
good writing, like the prose, the sentence structure's there.
I was like, let's do it. I believe that this was not plotted out whatsoever.
No, not at all. No, she pants her way through this entire novel.
Yes. And so therefore this is a 2-star for me. Yeah, I'm so sad to say. This book club, we were reading books about books. And so, not to confuse anyone, but this book confused me. Basically, there's 3 main characters in the book. There's one set way back in like the 40s, 50s, I don't know, 20s, something like that. And then 2 main characters that interact with each other, a guy and a girl. Anyways, Martha, like the main character, stumbles upon what we believe is probably going to be this bookshop, and like there's this mystery and like all these things and a little bit like dark writing. Anyways, we lost the plot. Like literally
no plot.
Halfway through the book, I'm like, where the this is going. I hate shitting on books because I never want to be the person that's like, but literally my book review was, I think we lost the plot mate.
We lost the plot. Yeah.
We lost it. 2 stars.
It was so good. I said in my review, I was like, it's a vibe, but it's it's like a roller coaster, but like just down. Like we start up here. Like I truly remember the first meeting. So we do, how our book club works is we split the book into 4 different sections and we meet each week to talk about that week's section. And I remember the first meeting, we were all like obsessed.
This is going to be a 5-star book, guys.
It's going to be amazing. And then you just watched us all collectively hate this book. I didn't attend the last meeting, but I wish I could have, because I know the girls. I know the girls were on fire with their criticism.
Yeah.
It just, the premise of the book was following like our modern day characters. Henry, the one guy, is searching for this lost bookshop. He is like a historian type character
who's like going off the deep end kinda in his like own relationship.
But like truly, after finishing the book, you're like, I guess they found the bookshop. Things don't make sense. It's a vibe. If you took this book to a cafe and had like a cute little cappuccino and you're reading it and you're like brain off, like slay. The second you start to think about this plot in any way, you're like, this doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, like if I was vacationing in like Ireland, like I'd be like, you should bring the Lost Bookshop with you. Like, oh my God. But like maybe the Lost Bookshop is the friends we made along the way. Because like we like what? Okay.
I gave it 3.5 on vibes alone, but I did also skim the last section.
If you would have gone to the last meeting, I think you would have been like 1 star. Because I'm generous.
Anyways,
all right.
hitting the
one.
end here. Yes, this is all you, boo.
All right, so I just finished this one. It's called The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez, who she's been very popular over the past couple of years.
Read one of hers. Was this your first book of hers?
Mm-hmm. And it's a short story.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed this book. So I'm gonna pick up some more of her stuff. I think that like Abby Jimenez kind of falls in like the Allie Hazelwoods and who else?
Emily Henry.
Emily Henry. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I'm like all the girls, all the girly girls are like, oh, I'm reading that. And I'm like, oh
yeah,
no,
the it girls of romance.
The it girls, and I wanna be included sometimes, guys. So, anyways, this book's great. It follows two neighbors, a girl and a boy, who get stuck together. This whole book is just forced proximity, by the way.
Love.
They wake up, they walk outside, their steps to their apartment building. It's like an outside situation. That's the way I imagined it. Like outside, think like, I forget the fucking setting. I think it's in Florida where like you enter your apartment from like the outside. You don't go inside a building. Anyways, their steps are missing. Like they go out, they live on the second floor. They're like, where are our steps? They're gone. And the apartment complex is like, hey, so like it's Friday. We can't get someone out until Monday. And so we can get like a lift to like get you guys down, or the girl's like, you know what? I'm just going to stay. And the guy has like a broken leg and he just got broken up with by his fiance. His fiance, they went to a family reunion and his fiance fucked her cousin, her second cousin, I think. And then she left him and now she's engaged to her second cousin. And like
there's her second cousin or his second cousin?
She's like dating her cousin. And so there's like jokes that's like, is that legal? Like, is that okay? Anyway, so it's really funny. So he's heartbroken. She, on the other hand, like crazy, okay? She, on the other hand, Aubrey's gonna read this tonight. She, on the other hand, has a stalker who's obsessed with her, who tried to like kill her with a knife. And so she's had to move apartments like 10 times in a year. And so she's like always on alert, like looking at. Anyways, forced proximity.
Entertaining as fuck.
You know, he like sets up and it's Valentine's Day. So crazy things happen. If I got you guys interested, it's a short story. If I tell you any more, you don't have to read the story. So I'm going to leave it there. I gave this 4 stars. It was great and introduced me to her writing. That's why I love to read short stories first of authors so I don't commit too hard.
The whole book, yes.
But a lot of her titles are like Taylor Swift lyrics.
Yeah.
And so I think I want to try it out. I hope that one of her books won the book club voting situation.
Me too. I do own one of her books. It's like with a red cover or something like that.
Is it just for the summer? I forget.
I don't think it's that one. But I don't know. My sister read it and then she was like just getting rid of the book. And I was like, I'll take it.
Yeah, why not?
Next up, we have Trial of the Sun Queen, which I don't know who wrote this book. It is like an Indian romantasy. So, story time, everyone. I have an Audible subscription. I have the yearly Audible subscription. Okay. And I knew that like sometimes a book on Kindle Unlimited will have like an Audible pair.
Oh, that's how I love that.
It'll be Audible Unlimited, right?
Isn't it crazy how it picks up where you left off in the book? Isn't it? How do they do that? Anyways.
So good. What I didn't realize is that there's also this thing called the Plus catalog, and that the Plus catalog was a part of my subscription because I didn't know I was paying for that. I just bought the base tier, and I pay for everything yearly because it's cheaper that way. I didn't realize I had that. So I go and I look at it. Fucking like ACOTAR, Lord of the Rings, like Red Rising. There are a ton of like popular works
that you can just read whenever without credits
for free, for totally free. Apparently, you can just get a subscription to the Plus catalog. I'm not going to talk too positively about freaking.
Yeah,
Jeff
you're
Bezos.
like, I'm not promoting this,
but
this is not an ad.
I am 5 books behind, and I was like, shit, I need audiobook stuff, but I'm tired of spending my money. Yeah. And I realized I had this fucking subscription, Trial of the Sun Queen. It's a romantasy. It has been recommended to me 1,000 times over. I always wanted to read it. I'm a very slow reader. I picked it up. I loved it. It was, okay, so I gave it 4 stars, actually. I have some critiques, but that's all right. It is like the selection meets the Hunger Games. Okay, like there's trials. So basically our main girl, she is in a prison and she's been in a prison her whole life, and a riot starts at the prison and she like it goes black. And then she wakes up and she's in like this very luxurious bed, and she spent her whole life in a prison.
Oh.
And like there's this bitch like talking to her being like, you kind of stink, and like kind of like giving a little bit of Quicksilver vibes there.
Uh-huh.
Basically, she realizes she has been chosen as what they call the final tribute in this selection bachelor style games where all these women are competing to become like the prince's queen. Okay, they're competing to be the Sun Queen. And like obviously the games are deadly, which is like one of these world building things where like Hunger Games is deadly and it's a game and it makes sense because it's dystopian and like that's the critique on the society. But then like some of these deadly game books like Powerless, like it's like why the fuck, it doesn't make a lot of sense. This starts to make a little bit more sense by the end of the book. But anyway, so it's for the Fae King, the Fae Prince, but they choose one human from this place called like the Umbra. And she realized, she's like, I'm not from the fucking Umbra. Apparently, she was stolen from another kingdom to compete and be this human person. And she has to lie and pretend she's a human person from their kingdom. But they're like, oh, you're like a stupid human, so you wouldn't know anything anyways.
She's like, wrong.
So she's like competing in these games, and it's giving like an alien-esque character by the end when shit goes awry. It's a little steamy. It's got like some like sex scenes in it. It was good. I think it very much felt like it was pulled from all those tropes that you love. Like I really should have just described it in 2 words, being like The Bachelor meets the Hunger Games in the Fae world. You know what I mean? Like that's all you need. That's all you need. You get it.
Yeah.
I think the author, she's like really going for like that SEO like comp. She's like, imagine ACOTAR meets Fourth Wing. And I'm like, girl,
relax.
We got to pick something else. We can't just pick the 2 most popular titles and be like, that's what my book is. Like, that's what everyone wants their book to be because that's what the girlies are buying.
Yeah.
But I thought it was entertaining. It helps that I could listen to it at 3x. Oh, and there's like a whole other POV of a guy from the kingdom she's originally from. He's like the prince, and like the king is pissed that she's missing, which is how you know she's going to be like an alien, like very important character. And so this prince is like hunting her the whole time. But that's also how you know that like she's not going to get with the king that she's competing for. Because if we have another POV character of a man, like she's probably going to end up with that guy. It's like a 4-book series. I finished book 1 for free. I don't know if I'm going to go into the rest of them. At least not right away.
At least you can say that you know what it's about though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Finally.
I'm finishing us off, everyone. And
yes.
It's going to be very easy because I'm going to take this and spin it to something different.
Okay.
Because we love the book-ish community. So my most recent book that I just finished was Harry Potter. And what's it called?
The
Sorcerer's Stone? Yes.
Or the Philosopher's Stone.
The Philosopher's Stone. Oh, yes. I know, right? Is that great?
The Philosopher's Stone. Oh, my God.
So the backstory here is that in a few weeks, Aubrey is coming, but I'm for my bachelor at party. We are going to Universal and we're going to Harry Potter. And I love Harry Potter, you know, of course, but I've never read the books.
Me
and
either.
So I was like, guess what? It's in public domain by now. I'm like, I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm going to like find a recording of this and I am going to freaking read it. Well, to my surprise, and because everyone knows the plot of Harry Potter, 5 stars, absolutely love the book, learned things that aren't in the movie that I was like, oh my gosh. Anyways.
It gets crazier. I know Jacob read the whole series and he was like, we dropped characters that then become important. And he's like, we really just rewrote it the further out we got.
Yeah. And like there was little details that like in the movie, I'm like, wow, they made this person seem like a bad guy. But if you would have read the book, you would have known from the start that that guy is actually not bad because he helped blah, blah, blah this way.
Yeah.
Anyways. And of course it's written for like a 10-year-old to read. And so, and it's very whimsical and magical. And like, we all know the first couple of Harry Potter books are all just like Harry at Hogwarts. And so all of the standard Hogwarts, Harry Potter universe things that you get in this first book. And so also, I also understand the controversy around J.K. Rowling. I want to mention that. I get it. I didn't buy the book. but I'm going to this world and I'm really excited and it's my childhood. So
yes, I feel like Harry Potter has
taken a life of its own.
It's got its own life. And at this point, like, I mean, you didn't give her money, but my books came from a yard sale, so I didn't give her money either. But it's also like fuck her.
It's our work. And so like, thank you, not thank you. So I just wanted to mention that because the internet scares me sometimes. So with that being said, I need to give a huge shout out on this podcast to Stoic Johnson, a YouTuber who started recording the Harry Potter series for his girlfriend. Halfway through recording, she breaks up with him and he's heartbroken. And he continues recording and narrating these books. And when I tell you, no, you need to, everyone needs to click off this video and go listen to some of Stoic Johnson's work. He does sound effects. He sounds like his Hagrid is like, when I tell you, he just started doing this 4 months ago too. He is going to be picked up and you will see Stoic Johnson narrating your favorite fantasy book soon.
Yes.
I'm telling you, like, I have to give him a shout out. His
new fave voice actor.
Literally, his girlfriend broke up with him. And he said that actually recording these Harry Potter books, he's only on the second one now, Chamber of Secrets now, or whatever it is. He said it's actually been really healing for him to get through this breakup. Aww. But guys, like, when they're in like the lunch hall or they're having like a Quidditch match, like he does background noises, like it is produced.
Yum.
I had the best freaking time reading this book because of him. So Stoic, thank you. I see you're also a gamer and streamer, so go subscribe, go listen to Harry Potter. And I'm really sorry because like I can't believe she broke up with you, dude.
Damn, you're really doing the most.
You're about to get bagged, though, because you're about to get picked up by so many publishers for your beautiful voice, the way that you can speak and your accents and all of it. Like, dude, you got it. You're fine. You're better off. I'm like, this isn't even about Harry Potter. I'm plugging
We're not even going to talk about Harry Potter.
The audiobook narrator. Seriously, everyone go listen. 5 stars to him.
5 stars. Thank you. And on that note,
yes,
that is our Q1 of reading. 22 books, kind of, sort of, because we overlapped on a few. Guys, I'm hoping that when we do our mid-year Q2 wrap-up, that I have more than 10 books under my repertoire, that I am perhaps on track. That is always my goal. I don't know how Peyton's ahead. My goal is always on track. But we will see you then. If you have books you want us to read and add into Q2, please let us know. We've got a lot down the pipe. There are some really great and exciting books coming out that we will be reviewing in the romantasy, fantasy, and romance realm. We dabble in other things.
Yes. So, and while you're commenting what you want us to read in Q2, please like and subscribe. We have a community tab. So, and we always post on there asking what you all want us to read next. So,
all right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us and happy reading.
Slay.
Slay.